This month, audiences will be able to see King Kong and Godzilla duking it out on the big screen, or you can do it from the comfort of your own home, because yeah, that's right, for just $14.99 per month, you too can see a big monkey punch an even bigger lizard right in the face. But what if I told you that movie already exists? Back in 1962, Toho partnered with Universal Studios to make King Kong vs. Godzilla, and it's pretty bad. I mean, but kind of in a fun way. And I don't think that that's anything controversial, right? Like, I know Godzilla has some pretty serious, hardcore fans out there. And I would say even among Godzilla fans, the Godzilla groupies, the Zilla zealots, I don't think that this movie is as beloved as some of the other installments in the franchise. Because I don't really think, after what I'm about to say about this movie, I don't think that I'm going to expect a lot of Godzilla fans to be coming after me with like pitchforks or anything. And after seeing this movie, I can understand why. But the appeal of this movie, I mean, it makes sense. Like, as movie fans, it's practically human nature to want to see these iconic characters battling it out. I mean, we saw Captain America versus Iron Man, Batman versus Superman, Freddy versus Jason, Kramer versus Kramer. Now, originally in pre-production, King Kong was not actually supposed to fight Godzilla in this movie. I swear to God, look it up if you don't believe me. King Kong in this film was supposed to go up against a 150-foot tall Frankenstein's monster whose body was comprised of different animal parts. So think of it kind of like a Power Rangers Megazord, except it's really fleshy and bloody and gross. Now, this movie is actually pretty hard to come by. If you want to watch this film, it's not available anywhere to stream. So if you really want to watch this movie, you actually have to buy the Blu-ray copy like I did. Of course, you could also watch the entire movie on YouTube. Yeah, it's a pretty crappy version, but you know what they say. If the movie's available to stream in its entirety on YouTube, that's cinema right there, baby. So this movie follows Mr. Taco, who not only looks like a Japanese Nigel Thornberry, smashing, but is head of Pacific Pharmaceuticals. And for some reason, this pharmaceutical company produces TV shows. And apparently, this form of advertising, it's not really working for them. So because this company isn't making much money, the president wants to find a sponsor to boost his ratings. So there's this doctor and he gets Mr. Taco and he's like, hey, there's a small island out there and I'm pretty sure that there's this giant monster on it. We should go get it. So his big brain idea is to go to this island, grab this big monkey, bring it back to Japan and use it as a form of advertising, which is like, I don't know, supposed to boost their ratings or something like that. I mean, yeah, I guess I would want to watch that on TV. And that's kind of, I mean, in line with what we've seen in King Kong movies up to this point. They want to get him, bring him back to the mainland and kind of use him to drum up some business. But I just kind of have to wonder how they think that they're going to get away with this. This seems like a very complicated scheme. So while all this is going on, there's this submarine that's out in the Arctic, and it kind of stumbles across this glowing iceberg with Godzilla frozen in it, like Captain America or Walt Disney. And in freaking like proper monster movie fashion, once they release Godzilla from his slumber, they just like immediately start shooting like a ton of rockets at him, which yeah, of course, doesn't really do anything against the nuclear lizard. And I would say from this point on, the movie doesn't really bother explaining why Godzilla and King Kong are at odds beyond Godzilla is big and King Kong is also big. So I guess it's like a territorial thing and they have to fight. But to be honest, if I woke up from however many hundreds of thousands or millions of years, however many years Godzilla is supposed to be dormant at this time, if I woke up from a nap and immediately was shot at by rockets, I mean, I'd be pretty pissed too. Good morning, everyone. What? Oh, no. And after this, we're exposed to what is truly the first example of some pretty ridiculous special effects in this movie. And yeah, believe me, I know it's kind of low-hanging fruit to make fun of a movie that came out over 50 years ago for not looking super good, but I would say that's a bit of an understatement. This movie looks like ass. I mean, obviously, yeah, if you compare it to today's standard, it's probably not going to look very good, but even compared to the original Godzilla movie, which came out like 10 years before this one did, and even if you compare it to King Kong, which came out like 30 years before this one did, I mean, this movie literally looks like they just borrowed the toys of like someone's nephew on set and just kind of filmed those with a King Kong that looks like he's made out of paper mache. So while all this is happening, we cut to Faro Island, where we see these two guys unite with a local tribe that is supposedly in possession of this like sleepy juice that once King Kong drinks it, he'll just kind of pass out. I'm not sure how they discovered this, but sure, whatever, I'll roll with it. That's also not the weirdest thing about this scene. In fact, all of the village people, not those village people, all of the tribes people in this movie, I'm like 90% sure they're all in blackface, which, yikes. Then out of nowhere, there's this giant octopus that just starts attacking the small little village. Now, in watching this movie, it's very obvious that the octopus that they used to film this scene, it's very real. It's a very real octopus. There's like no special effects involved. And you want to know how I know that? Because when we do see the octopus, that is not the real octopus, and it very clearly is like a puppet or something like that. It looks like Squidward from that episode of SpongeBob where they go out of water for the first time. Now, apparently, rumor has it, when they were filming this movie, they had 4 octopuses. They had 4 octopi on set, one of which was eaten by the special effects guy, which is so sad. So King Kong beats up the octopus, he drinks the sleepy juice, and is immediately knocked out. So they put him on this big boat. And it's at this point where the military kind of steps in and is like, hey,
guys,
maybe it's not an awesome idea to bring a giant monkey back to Tokyo. I don't know. What do you think? Which, although, yeah, that's a super valid point. It kind of confused me because up to this point in the movie, I was kind of under the impression that Mr. Taco had all of these soldiers at his disposal. So I kind of assumed the government was like,
yeah, that's a great idea.
But if the military is opposed to this, meaning the government is opposed to this, I guess Mr. Taco just kind of like hired a bunch of mercenaries to go out into this island and find King Kong and just take him away, which, I don't know, guys, seems to me like this big pharmaceutical president is up to some shady stuff. But thank God in the real world, big pharmaceutical companies are never up to shady stuff, and they're always doing the right thing. Yeah, give it up for pharmaceutical companies. Meanwhile, while all this is happening, the film keeps cutting to this newscaster who is interviewing a scientist to get information about the two monsters. And when he's talking about Godzilla, this is how he describes his brain.
Godzilla has a brain about this size. He is sheer brute force.
So, it's really not super clear if he's saying that Godzilla's brain is like, you know, relative to a normal lizard, the size of a marble, or if he's actually saying that Godzilla's brain is the size of a marble. And if he is saying that, that's really funny to me, that Godzilla's brain is so small, it's so tiny, it's so small, in fact, that it's like smaller than the brain of that of a ferret. So when you go to the theater or watch Godzilla versus King Kong from the comfort of your home, just remember, that guy, ferret brain. So big stupid idiot Godzilla finally meets up with King Kong after trampling through a train. I mean, he probably couldn't see it if we're being honest because he's such a big dummy. But he finally meets up with Kong and I was like, all right, baby, here we go. It's fighting time. It's punching time. I want to see the big monkey. I want to see it punch. And the fight is over in like 15 seconds. So
all right.
So King Kong starts off the match by throwing some big rocks at Godzilla, who then shoots his atomic breath at Kong, and it burns him, so he just kind of leaves. And I just love that Kong, he comes into this fight and he's all confident. He's feeling good. He's pounding his chest, and he's got this strong opening move of throwing the rocks at Godzilla, and Godzilla, who is this nuclear lizard, small brain, but still a nuclear lizard, shoots his atomic breath at King Kong, and King Kong is just like, oh shit, I was not prepared for that. So he just like leaves, which is, that's amazing. So after Kong fails to defeat Godzilla, the military is like, oh no, what are we going to do? There's this giant nuclear lizard who's going to destroy the entire planet. I've got an idea. What if we dig this giant hole and just kind of hope that Godzilla just falls into it, and when he does, we'll blow him up. So after this, we learn some key information. We learn that King Kong apparently gets stronger if he is electrocuted. Now, I'm no King Kong like aficionado, but I don't remember this in any of the other movies. Am I crazy, or is this totally insane? He's not a nuclear mutation like Godzilla is. From my understanding, he's just a big monkey. Do all monkeys get stronger if they're electrocuted? Is this something that research can back up? But I guess in this movie, King Kong, he's got to have a fighting chance. Yeah, Godzilla, as we've established, may be a big idiot, but King Kong doesn't really have the moves. He tried the rock thing, he gave it his best go, and obviously that didn't work out. So I guess we got to even the playing field a little bit here. So after absorbing a ton of electricity, King Kong kind of freaks out and he starts terrorizing Tokyo. I mean, he's stomping on trains, he's snatching up ladies. Obviously, no good. So Mr. Taco has the brilliant idea to turn the sleepy juice from earlier in the movie into a gas or a vapor. They're gonna fill these missiles up with it, Batman 89 style. They're gonna shoot them at King Kong and just kind of hope for the best. And actually, the plan works. It's like the first plan in this movie that actually goes according to plan. And so they're able to get King Kong and transport him to this island, kind of hoping that him and Godzilla will just kind of kill each other and it'll just kind of, resolve itself. So they drop off King Kong and Godzilla's there. So finally we get this long-awaited rematch. Hopefully it goes better than the first time. So the fight starts with Kong and he's being dropped from this helicopter on his butt, and he slides down this mountain and just kind of slide tackles Godzilla. So after he gets this nice opening shot in, King Kong tries to maintain the element of surprise by hiding behind this big rock, and he's waiting to strike. And when Godzilla comes around the corner, King Kong grabs him by the tail like a big cat and kind of just starts swinging him around. And I've got to say, even though we have established that Godzilla's brain, it's not the biggest, they really make him look like a big old idiot in this movie. Not only is he running away most of this fight like a punk bitch, but once he gets this good lick on King Kong, he starts like and hitting his hands together like a goddamn seal. He looks ridiculous. So King Kong retaliates by going back to basics and doing what's comfortable for him. So he starts once again throwing some big rocks at Godzilla. Godzilla, of course, comes back with the atomic breath, but it doesn't work this time. So King Kong capitalizes on this opportunity by just kind of wrestling Godzilla. You can say what you will about this movie in regards to the special effects or the narrative or whatever, but I think that most people, myself included, when they watch this movie, I feel we're pretty simple to please or pretty easy to please. We kind of just want to watch Godzilla and King Kong just punch each other a little bit. I'm a simple guy to please. I just want to see some big monsters just start slapping at one another. But yeah, what we get, it's it's not that. And we see King Kong who just falls down a hill and kind of bonks his head. So this goes on for a bit longer, and Godzilla eventually ends up burying King Kong and what was once his strongest ally, a bunch of rocks. But when all hope is lost, you think King Kong, he's down and out. A storm starts to brew ahead. You see where this is going. King Kong is struck by lightning, which wakes him up, and he starts to kind of kick Godzilla's ass. He gets on top of him, and he starts hitting him with these little, like, electric slaps. And he gets a f***ing tree and shoves it down Godzilla's throat, which I gotta admit, is pretty sweet. Godzilla charges at him. King Kong just kind of hip tosses him aside. Like, this is what I wanted to see. This is like, I know the special effects aren't there, but you got two guys in suits. Let's see some WWE ridiculous nonsense. I want to see King Kong give Godzilla the people's elbow. So this goes on for a bit. Kong actually pushes Godzilla down. They're fighting over a building. They're just breaking a lot of stuff. They're making a huge mess. And they actually both tumble into the sea. We see them go underwater. We see King Kong emerge. and he kind of just swims away. And that's the end of the movie. We actually don't see Godzilla at the end of this movie, so maybe he died. No, I'm just kidding. They made like 1,000 more of these movies. Godzilla's fine. And yeah, that's pretty much the movie. So aside from the more recent King Kong and Godzilla movies, I had only seen the original King Kong and the original Godzilla. This was like the first sequel that I had ever really seen, and I've got to say, I wasn't terribly impressed. I don't really know if this is for me. I'm glad technology has improved to the point where instead of two guys in rubber suits just kind of hugging and slapping at each other, we get to see a big CG monkey swinging an atomic axe at an even bigger lizard. I am very excited for Godzilla vs. Kong. I can't wait to see who wins. I'm glad I get to watch it on my couch, presumably in my underwear. That's fantastic. But if you're a big Godzilla fan or you're a big King Kong fan, I would love to know what are some of the movies that you think might be a bit more up my alley. Make sure you leave your thoughts and opinions down below. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching today. I hope you liked today's video. And if you did, you can click on the link down below where you can subscribe to my channel to see more movie reviews and movie related things. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching and see you next time.